This is what I think right now about how things roll with the first world, okay? When they say the lines of the earth is burned in endless flame and the hearts of men burn with desire, right? I think that what we see here in this section right here is obviously it's the situation where the world is burning, but that burning could signify either pollution, or if you want to go back even further, it's more of a primordial thing where we're talking about either the creation of the world itself, so it's an early planet that's being developed, or they mean that through sheer means, because I think that there's a signifying detail here of the smoke. The smoke could mean either it's pollution or it's an early sort of situation for the planet. One of those things, all right? So this is what I think. And I think there's a better way of really trying to gauge this with not just the smoke, but also I think it's because of the idea that this snake is the red line. So if the snake is the red if the snake is the red line, then you can argue that the world itself a very similar color. So imagine if most of the land that you see in the world is like the red line. That's the idea. So if you go to the red line, so the red line seems to be a very odd structure. Obviously, it's huge. It has that sort of crimson color to it. And the idea, the sense that I get is that the red line might have been what most of the world back in the day could have looked like. If the planet was going through some sort of sea of fire in the first world, the planet could have been similar to Mars. You could argue that, right? It's like the world was on fire, the world was burning. The earth was engulfed in flame. The red line, the actual crimson color of the red line itself could be indicative of how most of the world looked like. But it could be the case here where essentially you have two floodings, not one, two floodings. The serpent of fire is not necessarily an actual snake, it's the red line, you could argue. We see the Noah Ark, in World 1, but we do not see the Noah Ark in World 2. In terms of the mine is also a divide. Notice that. The mine is also a divide, as if the land itself was divided between certain circumstances. The king on the boat, because remember how we thought, okay, like the king on the boat could be Emu. That's the idea. Like Emu was no. I think the king could actually represent not necessarily Emu, but rulers, nobles. It could be indicative of people of like royalty escaping on a boat. Because think about it, more so than anything else, why is it a boat? Why is the king on a boat? Because when you think about it, whether it's the Ark Maxim, whether it's the Noah Ark or the boat, it's ways for them to escape the flooding that was going on during the first world when the god of the land got upset and they cast the world into ruin. That's what I think, okay? You can argue that these three are indicative of what's going on with the ancient weapons. You can argue that, but I don't think so. I think that one is first world, because here's the thing. If this is second world, then this would probably be signs of the Holy Land, because we saw in the Holy Land that people were slaves underneath the ground. So if you have slaves that are working underneath the ground in Mary Joa, then you can argue that this is actually more of a direct line of thought for that. First off, what's the purpose of the red line, and why is the all blue? And why was the all blue was discussed about? The purpose of the red line seems to be a response to people attaining something from the undying flame. That's the way it seems to be. The first world, the earth was engulfed in flame, and the hearts of men burned with desire. They reached for the forbidden star. They reached out for the forbidden star. What that is unclear. you can argue that the best choice of action, the best claim would be the undying flame. Nothing else really makes the most sense other than the undying flame. Nothing else. You can argue that. Remember, okay? The undying flame is not the same thing as the mother flame. The mother flame is the power source that Vegapunk and the other satellite bodies could create on Egget Island today. But it is stated by Shaka that there was a better power source in the past. They had better technology in the past. The star's forbidden because it was always night in first world. That's a new one. Maybe knowledge. That is actually a pretty good claim too. It could be just because the forbidden star could be another way of representing knowledge. Knowledge. Kyle Lopez style. That's actually because when you say that, and then you go to the One Piece scan version, you really get that sense, that way more biblical sense, where humanity succumbed to, so they succumb to their desires, and then they touched the forbidden sun, and then as a result, the god of the earth became enraged. So it feels like more than anything else, the god of the forbidden sun would be akin to the devil, and then the god of the earth is more akin to Yahweh. However, in this situation, like many other animes and mangas, the god of the sun is the good one. You would argue that, or I guess it's debatable, because it's the god of the sun that is the one that can bring laughter and joy and happiness, and the god of the earth was the one that was ruling when there was fire all across the planet. So you can read it that way too. So the sun god still is being beckoned by the enslaved, which is bar for bar what Who's Who said. Who's Who mentioned the idea of people that were slaves. They beckon, they want the sun god to enrich their lives, freedom from their slavery, give them freedom. Luffy's most freest form is still consistent with what happened in the first world, where there's always going to be something that beckons people away from their confinements. And I just realized you can argue that in some way, the earth itself could be viewed as a prison. That just actually kind of dawned on me. Yeah. The world itself, you can argue, is some sort of confinement, because the world itself is so fractured. The world itself isn't free. Now I'm starting to think about this whole differently. Time out. People that are working in the city, is that more of a metaphor? People felt that they were enslaved to the world itself and they tried to escape that? Because why is there, I don't understand why there's a moonshot over here. So remember, there was an idea that was brought to us in the last stream. When we see the ancient automatas that live in space, in order to try and escape the planet that's on fire, that these automata were actually people that left the planet. So they left the planet in World 1 to try and escape from the world that was engulfed into fire. And what a meth is could be one of these people. A meth could be a robot, literally from space, because a meth does have anti-gravity technology. I just think that more than anything else, I think more so than anything else, it's just that we have to take a lot of the superstition of the gods with a big grain of salt. Meaning that when they say the sun god, I guess the god of the land, or the god of the sea, or the god of the forest, I don't know if I could take the word god literal. And that probably includes even the sun god. So when they say they reach for the forbidden star, and then the sun god rose. When the sun god rose, what do you mean exactly by saying the sun god has rose? Like, did the sun god rise as an actual unique entity, deity, or is the first devil fruit user the sun god Nika? Gods to be created. Yes, I suppose so, but also maybe no. In Skypiea, there was something that was stated by Gonfall, the idea that when Enel was a deity, Enel, he says, I am God, right? People do not fear God. Fear itself is God. Oh, the incomprehensibly heavy lines. The idea is that, though, according to Gonfall, Enel's wrong. And God, there is really not a thing like that, but more so it's a title. The title of God is given to the people of this land, the ruler of the people of that land. But then what is a deity in earnest? What is an act, like what defines what makes a deity, right? It's hard to say, but you can argue the line that Enel says before about how gods can shape the world around them at will, or they can change the world around them. And then you see Luffy can literally do that in many respects. He can change the world around him. Therefore, he would qualify as a deity-like entity, right? You could honestly look at Second World and really pinpoint the wrath of the sea god, Poseidon, as just being the water levels rising. Probably wasn't written by an Elbaf kid to our knowledge. Oh, yeah, sure, fair enough. You know, I forget. This was written by somebody else. The drawing is the kid. Fair enough. But I would still take the word God loosely. Maybe not kid, but I'll say as, because they're still Elbafian people, so they're still very superstitious. Chaos, do you think there is more information in front of Frankie we can't see? That's possible. But I think that Frankie's position here, is actually more than anything else, it could be symbolic of Poseidon, Pluton. It's very, very possible. Very possible, honestly. But at the same time, I think more than likely, actually, if there is anything else, then it could be the source of the tree. But I'm not at the tree just yet. Okay, I'm not the tree yet. 19 founder on the right. Yeah, that we got before. We got to the 19 founders on the right side. Yes, that we got to before as well. Though to be fair, okay, look, here's the thing. I don't know if the 19 actually matters that much. Because here's the thing, if this is first world, then why would the number 19 matter when it comes to the Holy Land, or I guess the ancient kingdoms unifying against the ancient power, the old kingdoms, you know, like the 20 kingdoms that united? Why would it matter in World 1? If this is World 1, that shouldn't mean shit. If it's World 1, the World Serpent, right now, we cannot claim that it is alive. However, there is one thing that dawned on me last night when I was thinking, and it's this. If the red line was actually a living, breathing thing at one point in time, is there any signs of that in the planet? And I thought about it and I realized something, and no one knows what the is going on in the Florian Triangle. Peep game, I'm gonna focus on World 1 right now, just World 1. All right, I need to focus on World 1. If there is any evidence that this thing was actually a living thing, then it could be signified by the top, because the top of this would actually be very similar in style to the Florian Triangle demons or monsters, whatever, right? And if that's the case, right, then the Florian Triangle itself, the way we see the smoke around the Florian Triangle, that sort of mist, that could be the darkness. That could be actually a sign of the darkness. If you want to have a situation where there is no light, it doesn't have to be because there was no sun per se, but it could be a byproduct of the world's ecosystem or the pollution, whatever, and this could be that. Imagine the Florian Triangle, but everywhere, literally everywhere around the entire planet, you would get the same results. Brooke's situation, where even though it was daytime, they were still in the Florian Triangle, so it didn't necessarily matter if you're out and about during midday, because the light of day would never actually reach you. You get me now? Yeah, like you get me. I don't know if that means that the red line is alive. I don't know. But if there's any signs of the red line being alive, the red line being alive could be in the form of the Florian Triangle, where some elements of that exist within the Florian Triangle. You could argue that in some sense. That would signify that the red line was alive at some point, which would back up the idea this is actually like this is an actual snake. It may not be, and it could just be a cataclysm in the same vein as the sea god, where the sea god is likely just the sea levels rising. But again, it's Elbaf, and all the giants are very superstitious. So you have to take things with a grain of salt. You can argue that the actual chimney stacks are, I guess, the pollution of these buildings being on the land that creates this serpent is indicative of the pollution that once existed, and these monsters or these vents or like whatever, they're in the Florian Triangle. That's how you would connect the Florian Triangle to the days of yore. That's how you give relevancy to this right here. One of the things I don't necessarily like about the idea of this being some sort of mine, and they're going underneath the ground for some materials, and they're harvesting materials on the ground, and they're bringing them back up for, let's say, whoever the hell is running the country or the world at that point in time. I don't like that idea, because why do they have halos? Does it mean that they're dying in the mines? Or does it mean that they're actually going to the underworld because they're dying, Brook style? But then it could be a cycle of death and life, rather than, let's say, being a mine, right? Yet halos are normally for the dead. So why are there halos over these people? That's why I don't think they're actually going in, just digging for shit and die. So it's gotta be more, I think, symbolic. Death or power, dreams. To me, I felt like in a way it could be maybe not the stars themselves, but it could be indicative of inherited will. That is a very strong concept too. This person right here, they're kind of reaching out, and you kind of see how the star over here gets flung almost. The star over here kind of gets flung from one side to the other side by this person, and then they die. But then it gets kind of carried on to like the next generation. I think Sil said the same thing too about the star's power could come from dead people. You guys said before too in chats, right? That what people are mining here is like their souls. So it's like they're giving up their souls as a means to do something, right? But this makes it feel like the undying flame is some sort of philosopher's stone from FMA. It's a philosopher's stone from Full Metal Alchemist, where you just culminate the souls of everybody into one undying, all-powerful power source. I don't know if Oda does that. I'll be honest. I could be wrong. I don't know if Oda does that. If we follow the theme of Devil Fruits, it could be this energy, the star. It could be desire, inherited will, the intangible substances that maybe form something like the sun god through the forbidden star, which is a similar process to how you make devil fruits. Okay, because you know what it is? Hold on. For all the folks that say, hey, you know, actually it probably is. You know what? F it. Here's why I'm saying f it, and my pitch is getting higher, because I just realized when we look higher, look at this for a second. If this is soul power, why the hell is soul power near the moon? Wait, this seems more like stars near the moon. There are things that people do that involve stars, particularly stars that move across the sky. What do? You wish. You wish upon a falling star. It's a common thing that everyone does. Honestly, this could be these lights, energies, they could be wishes, hopes, dreams, desires. Could you say that inherited will is the same thing as having dreams and hopes and desires that carry on to the next generation? God's plan. Because to me, doesn't it almost feel as if like the star gets bigger? So you have a small star next to the person that's deceased, and then over the course of time the star gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then bigger, huge. But then they go into the city, it seems, and then the stars kind of shrink. Look at the fire serpent and Loki in the mural. They have the same pattern. Loki's legendary fruit is the fire serpent. If Loki wants to destroy the world, Loki, you think, has the Jormungandr fruit. Interesting. Okay, because I remember I mentioned before that they have the same thing, but I don't think it actually matters. But now you, okay. Hold on, wait a minute. You could have just cooked right there. Time out. Maybe Loki's desire to destroy the world could be a metaphorical thing and more to tear down the status quo. It's not a bad idea. I can fuck with that. I can. Cole, the white-winged creature, I think it could be a Skypean because I think it, you know, you made a point there because I think the Skypeans, it could have signified that they were always aliens. So remember how we said before that there's an idea where you had the aliens in the NL cover story. People that used to live on the planet, but they escaped the planet, let's say in part because of the power of the Forbidden Flame. They escaped the planet and they were able to thrive, live in space as a result of that. So when you go to the ancient ruins on the NL cover story, we see how they lived on the moon. What's it now? NL's great space mission, an education in painting, the ancient Moonanites with wings. And then the moon city Blicka, they fled to the blue planet in search of resources. So the people of the moon probably were always aliens. The gears, the eyes, they're like suns. Really? Okay, I see what you're saying with the eyes because they have the eye thing of it. But I think the gears look more like suns than eyes. Like if you notice here, the symbol of the sun on Nika's shield and this symbol too, they kind of look at the gears. Where I think it's, again, another symbolic means of dreams and hoping. There is no Panda Man, bro. That's what I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking that these two connect. Hold on, for all the Philosopher's Stone believers and overachievers, why is it that we believe this idea when it seems like the Forbidden Star existed before any of that? So it's a big mom, but yeah, but why though? Like, why would the Forbidden Star need the souls of people like on that big mom if it already existed? Equal exchange, dude. We are really going FMA. We're going FMA heavy. Damn. Stars of hope to create doubt, to create double fruits, devil fruits. I think devil fruits are created over here in second world, not first world. Okay. I think there are no fruits that exist. So to be fair, this could all just be not necessarily all first. This could all be second world. But hey, you know, they probably bring people back from the underworld. They're bringing people back from the underworld like it's Odin having his soldiers where you can tap into Valhalla. Wait, so is this Valhalla? Be a Bible reference in Tower of Babel, Genesis. Ooh, where God separated the people who tried to climb up to him and created a ladder to heaven. He separated them by changing everyone's language. But this could be everyone's race change also happening after the Great Flood. I think that could be the same thing, but at the same time, language is still there. Everyone speaks a common language for the most part. The ancient language is gone, but everyone does speak a common language at this point in time. And then even all the other races do. So giants, fishman, and merfolk, Tontata, and you know, they all speak the same language, but it could be significant of something else entirely, you know, or it could be, let's say, the passage of time, because it depends on how much time is passing from one to another, right? It depends on how much time is between this and this. Is it a few hundred years, thousands, tens of thousands, or millions? Because if it's millions, you can argue that's actually more so a case of evolution after the first great cataclysm, or after the first world was destroyed. The first world was destroyed probably through the rise of the red line, or the creation of the red line, or the fall of the red line, if you want to get really spacey theme right there, you know what I'm saying, baby, hell yeah. And then after that, you have, maybe if it's like a few 100,000 of years, they started to evolve. Maybe. Because we've never seen anyone in the story come back to life other than Brooke. So it's likely not a life and death. We're actually reborn, truly. But then it looks like they're carrying something when they always come back or when they're first born. And if it is the Big Mom soul thing, time out. If this is the Big Mom soul thing, they're not giving it away. I mean, like, maybe you think that first they are. So right here, they go up and they have the soul thing, but then the soul thing's here. And then they bring it back with them? Or is it... Now I'm starting to wonder if this is like Zunisha. Well, that we thought before. If this whole thing is Zunisha, and then this is a elevator, and then these are all resources that people are bringing from the cities to live on Zunisha and the elephant herds, and also Noah, to escape the disaster that is the battle between these two forces. It could be like super, I don't know, man. That sounds kind of dumb, but I don't know. It's a tribute, or they're bringing resources so they can live and survive the cataclysms that is happening between these two forces of the extraterrestrial forbidden sun and the Terra, Gaia, the earth itself. The reason why I think we have to take into account the idea, Emu is not a god, quote unquote, in the same vein as you would think. It's not the forest god or the earth god, is because if the sea god part, if that sea god part is just the water levels rising, then it's not really a god. It's a natural phenomenon that the Elbathian people, whether it be the kid or whether it be the person that wrote the Harley text, they're just denoting to it as a god. And because of these natural phenomenon, people back in the early days would associate these things to gods. When I saw the murals, I instantly thought about the murals in the Monsterverse, where those murals show what is to come in the future. Fair, but I don't think that's the case here. I think that the only thing that's the future is the last part of the Harley text that notifies to the coming of the third world. I think that's it. I'll be shocked if all this is actually the future. We don't know the origins of the Forbidden Sun. Where did it come from? Did it just manifest naturally? Or did it come from someplace, something else? I think that if this red serpent represents the land, the red line, the god of the land, then to me, this bird represents the inverse. And that's why it's coming down from the stars. The moon haunts you. The moon and the stars are where it's coming from. Therefore, it's extraterrestrial. Or it could be symbolic of the sun or the forbidden star coming down to the planet in some way. And this could be the forbidden star, which also then correlates to the beginning of book 2. Because in book 2, the breath stirred in the abyss. What breath? From where? From the forbidden star. And in doing so, the god of the forest, or Mother Nature, wove devils. So using the power, so let's take it more metaphorical. The power of the forbidden star that was lost at the end of the first world started to affect nature in a way where nature started to naturally, or in this case, unnaturally, as a byproduct of the forbidden star existing, nature started to produce devil fruits. So the god of the forest isn't an actual deity per se, but it is nature itself. Nature itself started to produce devil fruits as a byproduct of the forbidden star's existence. And the forbidden star's existence is beyond Earth's or this planet's existence, which is why it's fighting against the embodiment of the planet, the red serpent. So that's why the end of Earth or World 1 is the beginning of World 2. The fruit's existence starts to usher in the situation in book 2. You can take it more literally and say, okay, there was a deity known as the god of the forest. And the deity of the god of the forest did use the power of the forbidden sun to create devils. Hence, why over here you see this god potentially, this god of the forest, maybe Emu, wielding the power of the sun in their hands against the forces against Emu, or the god of the forest, which would be the Joy Boy Nika coalition. Forces of darkness, elders, and the 20 nations versus the coalition of the sun, aka Nika, ancient giants, mermaids, Tontada, giants or maybe buccaneers, potentially space robots, minks, Lunarians, Alabastians potentially, samurai, whoever you are, Yonko Kaido's progenitors. Eesh. I think that's way simpler. This is like way simpler. Red Hawk, yes. Yes, yes. AIM, yes. Yes. Red Hawk, Red Rock. White Phoenix in the future. White Phoenix or Red Phoenix, whatever. Luffy has attacks that tend to correlate with fire and birds. Fire and birds. And I think that's probably significant of something, for sure. Red Dawn, maybe. Star Phoenix, Griffin, White Griffin, or Red Griffin, or Star Griffin. Blake Griffin. I like this. This is good shit. But this guy's important. This guy's like super, like this bird is super important. Because it's coming down from on high, meaning unnatural existence or an unearthly existence. And the earth itself is fighting with this unnatural existence. But it's also overlapping with the creation of the fruits itself, you could argue, or the tree. Could be a dragon, maybe, sure. Grant Webster, appreciate it. The people of the first world worship the forbidden star. This star was believed to be the source of all knowledge and power. However, it was forbidden to seek its secrets, and in doing so would disrupt the natural order maintained by the ancient Adam and Eve trees. The fragments of the forbidden star corrupted the Adam and Eve trees, causing them to wither and twist. Let's call the first world devil fruit the very first fruit, and the sun god was unstable and uncontrollable, symbolizing the raw chaos of the star's fall. The second world devil fruits refined over generations, becoming the ones known today, categorized as Paramecia, Zone, and Logia types. Not a bad take at all. Not at all. Actually, pretty good, pretty solid. The only thing is that I think it could be a bit too biblical, like too on the nose. But I do like that idea though. That is a good take. That is for sure a damn good take. This may have to require multiple streams. Cole, Dyson Sphere theory works if you remember the Eve tree provides light. The fisherman, as it says, well, it should take light from the sun. That's the theory. But yeah, my theory is that there's a Dyson Sphere, or it could be a Dyson Sphere, right? That's one of my biggest theories. I did a video now that actually got like a good amount of views, which is nice. But yeah, I remember that was my main, because I think it will make so much more sense if it was, especially if we talk about the planet's alignment, where if the other planets, if it's not moons that we see in the O'Hara globe, if it is genuinely other planets circle around the One Piece world, it's a geocentric model of the solar system, not heliocentric, then it could be because there is a sun in the middle of the planet. Or Undying Flame, the forbidden star, that could be so powerful that its gravitational force even exceeds that of the sun in the solar system, and it forces everything to actually rotate on the planet itself. Maybe humanity touched the forbidden sun was multiple having these OG powers, then in a second world powers manifested devil fruits. Maybe. Because you can argue that in many respects, you can argue that essentially what we're getting at here is that the forbidden star in some ways is the progenitor of all devil fruits. That's the idea in some way. Because people desire the forbidden sun for various reasons, because of the conditions of the world back then, whatever they were, People desired Forbidden Star in the same way the desires and the hopes and dreams of men also help spawn the devil fruits in some way, but not actually spawn per se, but they were able to create them because nature was having them exist via the power of the Forbidden Sun. The Forbidden Sun, as far as we know, nowadays is not creating devil fruit powers, but back then they were, because as far as we know, every fruit already exists in an encyclopedia. I will say this though, to me, and I thought about it too, the lightning bolt kind of looks like a road. Like the king is there on top of the, like he's kind of in the crossroads between the lightning bolt and what may be Zunisha. Yeah, stairs. Stairway to heaven. Or a stairway to escape. Yeah. Stairway to heaven, stairway to escape, escaping to space. It's not out of the question. I don't see the fire near them, but it's not out of the question. It's because the Lunarians do have the body types to live in any environment. Then in World 2 of Flips. I like that. That's actually not a bad take at all. Because something was forcing the people of the world back then to try and escape their predicament. One thing I'm trying to figure out too is, where are the ancient weapons in this whole thing? I think we did this before last time, where we went to this chapter in that version that I have, but we have this where you have these drops of water, and then they're coming from on high, but at the same time, maybe there's not a giant floating whale, but rather it's more just symbolic of, let's say, forces that are involved in fighting, right? But when you count the number, you have 15. But with the Uranus weapon, there are 16 death rays. So maybe there's a raindrop somewhere. Maybe Oda want to add one, who knows? But there's 15 drops, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 drops. If there's 16 drops, that actually match the exact same number of death rays that you'd see destroy Ludicea Kingdom in the manga. In the anime, it's a whole different thing. But in the manga, you'd think, okay, maybe that matters. And that matters too because the number 16 seems to be very important for the Celestial Dragons. There are guesses as to why it's the case, but for example, remember when in Dofi's flashback, when Dofi and his family were being attacked by the people of the town or of the island, one guy said that a Celestial Dragon killed his kid and shot them 16 times. When Luffy rang the bell to pay homage to Ace, he rang the bell 16 times. 16 holy bullets, right? Dofi's move. Also, if you look at the current century of the world of One Piece, in the age of the sea serpent, right now, this is the age, so this will probably coincide with this in a big way. Sea serpent, serpent of fire, god land, and so on, right? It's the current age is also the 16th century. I think it's the year 15 something. So it's the 16th century of the age of the sea serpent. But it also is a good point too that the Lunarians would be the ones to survive the most, the best, in a world that's covered in fire, right, engulfed in flame, because they could adapt to any conditions. So it wouldn't matter if it was, or if it was, you know, engulfed in flame or not. Dirk against is this: Zunisha is a pet who betrayed its masters and was punished. Zunisha knew both two Nikas. I think just no. Zunisha just mentions Joy Boy. I don't think Zunisha mentions anything. I don't think there's another Nika. I think that there could be a. I don't know what to do with the Zunisha. I actually don't know. I'll be with you, bro. I don't. Zunisha's a very, because I don't know if that's actually an elephant. I have no idea. It kind of looks like an elephant, but it could be signifying water. And then someone's on a boat. It is King. There's the rowboat because he's a vessel. He's on a ship. Kind of. Zunisha was forced. Wait, was Zunisha punished pre-Void Century 1,000 years ago? Because I know it's 1,000 years old. Zunisha's hats. That's kind of cute if it had a hat. Or it could be just a giant herd of elephants in general. Who knows? Is this an elephant? Is it Zunisha? Zunisha or a herd of Zunishas, they're fine, quote unquote fine, right? They're so tall the water won't reach their levels. So just walk on. And then this elevator could maybe actually be an elevator where folks are trying to get on these Zunishas. And then the king of the Zunishas, the matriarch, is like, I'll allow you. But that's just like, that's nothing is off the table. That's kind of the point though, right? Cole, my whole idea is that the Eve tree would have betrayed the god of the land, Emu, the same way Eve betrayed God by making devil fruits, an alternative to the power Emu grants. It's possible. I'm not gonna deny that. But I just don't see it being literal. What I interpret from it was whatever that they were mining or taking from the underground / underworld, you need to be dead first in order to enter, in order to excavate whatever material / energy. Once you come back up, you're alive and made to supply energy that the ancient kingdom is then forced to die again and repeat the cycle, an endless undying slave cycle. Buccaneers could have been Buccaneer ability, the ability Vegapunk hinted at. So let me run that by so I can make more sense of it. So you're saying that these orbs or these stars are not really stars, they're energy from the underworld. And people are forced to die and then reborn and continue a cycle of mining energy from the underworld. And these folks could be Buccaneers, because Buccaneers have the ability of some kind to go in and out of the underworld. Then they're forced to die again and repeat the cycle, an endless undying slave cycle. There is an ability that they have that we don't know what they can do, for sure. But isn't it a bit OD if they just come back and die? I mean, hey, I'm dead and I'm back. What's up? It feels like, yeah, like, you know, like Kratos goes to Hades. It's like, and come back, like, huh? Nani? I feel like maybe what's stopping them from coming back to life now? Like, why didn't Kuma's dad, like, just come back to life? Like, lol, duh. Crazy idea, but that's something I probably want to put my money on right now, if I'm being real. It could be a Shandian by Zunisha, hence the white wings, and the other wings is Lunarian with the black wings in the frame. Possible. Okay, I like that. And also by the normal whale could be a Oni like Yamato, and the one by the giant is a mink like Carrot. Oh wait, the Oni, like, okay. See, this to me I think is weird though. I don't see how it's an Oni. I agree with you. In fact, I remember someone said before that it's actually more likely a mink because we see in the whale forest. Well, yeah, they have a whale forest, and the whale forest, you can argue, is similar to, let's say, this. It's the same sort of whale. The whale forest whale and this whale are very similar types of whales, and then the minks would be more conjoined with that. But it does leave the question: what the hell are you then? That for sure is a question. Like, what the fuck are you then? Like, are you another mink? But that seems kind of redundant. Would the Sulong minks be separated from the normal minks? There was a race of Sulong minks, and then over the course of time, they intermingle with the regular minks, and then that Sulong ability, or that Sulong state, well, it wound up becoming a state, rather than say an actual race, per se. Because if not everyone can go Sulong, right? Yeah, because they can go either berserk, or they can lose themselves in that stuff, yeah. But also it's because, you can argue, it'd be like in the same vein as ancient giants. Right now, there aren't that many ancient giants at all. But back in the day, there were a lot more ancient giants. So you can argue that maybe actually even there were only ancient giants back in the day. Maybe. That's a bit much though. And then you can say, okay, ancient giants, and then those are right here. These are buccaneers, not giants. You can argue that potentially. But that is a sell. But do you think that these circle craters on the moon in the mural could be a number of the major cities on the moon? 1, 2, 3, 5 major cities on the. That's possible. I'm not gonna deny that. Yeah, absolutely. But let me get to that last part then. The actual end of World 3, because we've been focusing on like bits of World 2 and World 1 a lot, but that's necessary because I think World 1 is the most ambiguous by far. The most ambiguous by far and away. But The part where they say, right here, where is it again? The sun is reborn, a new dawn will break. Surely this time they'll meet again. Surely this time they will meet again. They will meet. I think it's Luffy and I think it's Luffy and the One Piece treasure. I think there's actually a very good case to make now that the One Piece treasure is the Forbidden Sun. It is the undying flame. It is the eternal flame. I think that is the treasure. That is the cornerstone treasure, because it is the only thing I can possibly think of that has the power to literally change the world, like what Vegapunk is saying. So that's what I'll say. Maybe not like 100%, but 95. I think there's a 95% chance that the undying flame, the Forbidden Sun, is the cornerstone One Piece treasure. And then Luffy will find the One Piece treasure, and that will be the sun god, Nika, reuniting with the Forbidden Sun. And also, memory part here also harkens about the Dr. Heat Luke stuff, and, you know, not forgetting the Nika's existence, that kind of stuff. The fish could be Sea King and by the mermaid. Yeah, I agree with that for sure. And then I bet some of the blues. I mean, you know, that's fair too. That is fair too. The sun will be born, a new dawn will break. Surely this time they will meet. That's possible too. Yeah, it could be the all blue. That's possible too. You know, actually, that is actually a pretty good call. Like, it could be the all blue as well, because I think that the separation parts are the calamities, where the calamities cause the world to split and divide. Therefore, it meet again could be the blues. That's actually a very good call too. That is actually a very good, very good call. Very good call. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, Frankie's matters. I think Frankie matters for sure. Casey and MC, do you think the first or second world was more technology advanced, or maybe the Vegapunk, the second world, picked up where the first one left off? I think it could be a mix of both. Where, like, at the end of the first world, they were getting very advanced because they had like NL, you know, like Arc Max and shit like that, and they even made Noah. But as a result, they started, something went awry, and then you had a calamity start to occur. As a result, then you had second world, that took that technology, still advanced upon it, probably, but then they also lost that because of Emu and company, right? That's the idea. So that's the idea. I would say at the end of first world, and for most of World 2, they're very technologically advanced. That's what I'd say, because there's signs of that for both NL and the Arc Maximum stuff. You have the gears, you have actual cities, you have potentially mechanisms and mind that go maybe to the underworld or somewhere in inner Earth, who knows. You have, you know, ancient automata robots that are fighting alongside. So yeah, they're very advanced. Way more so than they are now in third world. Way more so. Papa Paul, what do we think about the half moon being either the Figurelands or the D's? Both could have reasons to dream, and whoever the half moon is must have connections to the full moon, right? Love this chapter. True, the chapter is great. I mean, there are ideas, obviously, where there could be, I would say just the D clan in general, where the D clan or people of the D have all existed throughout history. Even giants are D clan members. So you can argue, let's say, even minks could have been, even fishman and mermaids, honestly. Dragon looking east towards this mural, like Frankie, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I want to say that this does involve Blackbeard, because Blackbeard never sleeps. And when Oda does draw the image of him, as a kid, he's under the full moon. So I wonder if that matters too. And according to Saturn, he does have some sort of unique lineage. Blackbeard does have a unique lineage. So I wonder if, like, if the full moon thing and the half moons are different clans, or they're part of the same clan, then maybe BB could be like a representation of that full moon stuff too. Maybe. Scarlet Waterfowl. Stop it. Herlock. Is that Herlock Shalom's? Much love 5. Maybe the two beasts are dueling Plutons. The one on the tree being the natural beast, and the one in the skyscraper being from blueprints. That's not a bad idea. But I feel like because it's come from, it's a ship. I feel like Frankie being closer to the Zunisha elephant is more like reminiscent of that, rather than, let's say, the chicken. But that's possible. Again, this is why I can't listen. Normally I stake my flags pretty firmly, but I just can't do that for this thing, because this is You could be spot the fuck on. You really could be. JPX, much love. €5. Hey Cole, I noticed the X symbol on the serpent are similar to the X symbol on the ruins on the moon. With NL. 3 a.m. here, nice stream. The X on the moon. What do you mean X on the moon? No? And yeah. No, okay, I need to stop. I'm sorry. Hold on. Are they the same? Oh, the buildings on the inner moon have the same X's on them as the Jormungandr snake. Let me fucking. Oh, this. I mean, this is me. This is a loose connection. It's not something I'm not against it. Same X. I'm not against it. I'm not against it. I'm not against it. I'm not against it at all. But that would mean that the people of the sky probably were on Earth first and then fled to the moon to avoid the first calamity, and then came back later on once the resources of the moon were depleted. Okay. JPX, you cooked. Though, to be fair, we're inferring a lot. But then again, to be fair, nothing is off the table now. Nothing. All right, I'm going to see you guys on Monday afternoon to finish this bad boy up. Stay safe. Peace out. Have a nice one.